Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here, along with Ari. Say hi, Ari.
Hello.
And he's going to be here for a color commentary and discuss topics relating to the game and give me suggestions while playing. Of course, Strategic Command World War I, and this is the West Front First series, which we are, strangely enough, winning very well in the East. And I'm doing okay in the West. So right now it is the Entente's turn. Oh, shoot, I forgot to move these guys. Oh, no, they moved down here this last turn. Okay, to take the oil fields. They're going to move back. At least that's the plan. Okay, yep, reduces Russian morale. Albania surrenders because we've taken its capital and destroyed its army. And the Arabs rise against the Ottomans. And the Arabs rise against the Ottomans. Ottoman troop morale falls as the Arabs revolt. So these guys are going to march back south again. The Koenig hit by rough seas. Yep. They're blockading us. They're blockading us. Sharif Hassun denounces the Ottomans for having rejected God's word. Austrian scientists progress in infantry warfare development from 21 to 45. Austria-Hungary develops trench warfare level 1. Scientists report progress on, or Ottoman scientists report progress on trench warfare from 97 to 100%, so that we get 100% there. Okay, so now we're no longer sending any MPP to Austria. But I think they'll do okay. And whatnot there. UK introduces conscription. The second Anzac Corps sets sail. And yep, they moved back to Smolensk, which I thought they would. But I thought that was better than having my or cut off. Okay, they moved up to there and they're moving up that way. We got to hunt those subs some more. Okay, they're moving into my trap some more. So they're learning not to move into my trap. I don't know if that is truly if the AI is learning or something. They're upgrading their infantry units from soft hats to helmets. And looks like we've ambushed, or they've ambushed us. They're not ambushed, attacked us. They're doing some strategic bombing. Wow, we lose an MPP. I gotta remember to reinforce that Zeppelin unit. Zeppelins are cool. Maybe silly, but cool.
Cool looking. I don't know how useful they are, though, technically speaking.
Well, that's sort of what I mean, sort of silly as in, big hydrogen-filled airbags up in the sky, or gas bags up in the sky ready to explode, burn, whatever. But they're really cool. Yeah.
This is why incendiaries were actually made, so they could quickly deal with the Zeppelins.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, I would write a helium filled Zeppelin today. Now, I'd of course look out at the weather and make sure that it's a nice day before I got on it for a ride. And I probably wouldn't want to take a transatlantic flight on one, but I would definitely want to sort of take a local flight on a helium filled one.
They should do that now more often because Zeppelins are a lot safer than they were 100 years ago.
Well, they used to here in LA have the Goodyear blimp, which is a
Famous
big,
blimp.
yeah, and which is a Zeppelin. It sort of defined it that it has a rigid skeletal structure with gas bags in it. A blimp just is either one big gas bag or maybe several sections of a gas bag, but without rigid. And they used to be able to I don't know what it would cost or whatnot, but be able to ride in the blimp, but it would just be 2 or 3 or 4 people or something that would be at a time other than the crew, so you could ride in it. But so I would definitely take like a day trip around an area like they used to do a bit in Germany in the 1930s to sort of show things off. So I would do something like that in a Zeppelin today. Again, a helium-filled one, but yes. Okay, well, America never sold helium to Germany. Insurrection in Belgrade. That's what I was worried about, and we were sending up troops up there. How did they get a fortress symbol there? There is some events, or there are some events. German socialists opposed to the war formed the Spartacus League. French national morale falls below 50%.
Bavarians and their communism.
Serbia, let's get this done before you start commenting. So I'm trying to read what's going on here. Okay. Trebizond damage bombing, we know about that. Okay, let's see. The Russia convoy, 16, 12, 12 MPP lost to them. Okay, there we go. And we've got a railway gun, which will be somewhat useful, mainly because it has long range. And we can move it up nearer to the front. Well, I guess we're going to put them here. Now these detachments, I got to send down and help, just like with that Belgrade situation. Another railway gun. One of them, I believe, was set up to be already in the production queue from the start. That one was one that I bought. So yeah, helium in the Zeppelins. Germany does not have a natural source, and they didn't, at least at the time, up until the start of the Second World War, know of a source for helium that the Germans had access to in Europe. And so they built all of the World War I Zeppelins out of hydrogen. The Hindenburg was built as a hydrogen Zeppelin and intended to do so. Now, with the just to give some background, with the disaster at Lakehurst, the Hindenburg catching fire and many people dying, Germany asks for sends a mission. I think Dr. Zeppelin or somebody, I think, actually goes over to, I have to look at the event in Third Reich event, goes over to the U.S. to ask to be allowed to have, to buy helium from the U.S. Well, to this day, helium in the U.S. is still listed as a strategic resource, even though, of course, you can go get it in any sort of grocery store that sells balloons, that they'll fill your balloon up with helium. They refuse to sell for multiple reasons. I think one, Hitler was well empowered by that time, because this was happening either in late 36 or early 37, I think. This was after the Hindenburg disaster. They build the Graf Zeppelin 2, because there was already the Graf Zeppelin 1 flying around that predates the Hindenburg, and had been doing a lot of airmail runs from Germany to South America, primarily. But once hurricane season sort of gets going in that part of the ocean, it's basically relegated to flying around Germany. It also does, the Graf Zeppelin does at least one, and it's given permission to do one actually I think it goes around the world, but trans-Soviet Union flight. And so that's the Graf Zeppelin 1. Well, the Graf Zeppelin 2, which is being built, was built as a helium Zeppelin. What that means is hydrogen is less dense, so hydrogen has greater lifting capacity than helium. So they build the Graf Zeppelin 2, and until the Japanese come up with, I think it's duralinium, but it's a very durable aluminum and primarily I think, or one of the first major uses is on the Zero. Until they come up with that type of aluminum, what am I looking for, Ari? Combination of two metals. I always blank on these words. Alloy, that's it. An aluminum alloy. Until that, the Germans were some of the best at developing a strong aluminum alloy. So they build it very lightweight. The British in the 1920s built two Zeppelin type things. They don't call them Zeppelin, but there's, dirigible airships. One of them crashes sort of on the way to Paris and burns and whatnot. They're very, very heavy. They don't have nearly the technology that the Germans have, or the Americans really have, because the Americans get some of the Zeppelins from Germany as end-of-war reparations, and they fly them until the two of them are lost in air accidents. And actually, the Americans, I think they build one that is specifically designed as an aircraft carrier, meaning they carry, I think it's like 4 fighter aircraft on board the dirigible, and so they have sort of a hangar inside that sort of has a hook swing thing on it that will swing out the aircraft below it, and then just let the aircraft drop and fly, or the aircraft could fly up under it, and then it has a hook on it that hooks up to this thing and then gets raised into the Zeppelins. These are all run by the Navy, and so the Americans are rather advanced by it until bad weather takes them down. One time, well, one of them wasn't bad weather. I forget which one. I think it was one of the first accidents that basically somebody, I think, drops a lot of ballast in the back of it, so it goes almost instantaneously from being level to the nose pointing straight at the ground and the tail pointing straight up in the air. And so you can imagine what that would do to the crew inside, because no one's like, holding on to anything, because it wasn't like, get ready for this. It just like goes boom and kills people. I mean, not like everybody died or anything, but it was a very serious accident. So the Navy eventually gives up on it, but they're actually fairly well advanced on it. And so Germany's continuing it. So they build the Graf Zeppelin 2 as a helium vessel, and the U.S. won't sell it to them, so they end up putting hydrogen in it. So it is particularly has a lot of carrying capacity because it was designed for not as good of lifting gas, safer lifting gas. But this means that the Graf Zeppelin is never used as a commercial transport because nobody wants to get up and fly in it. It is used flying around Germany as a propaganda vessel, and at least one spy mission to Britain, not over Britain necessarily. Germans know about radar. They know what it sort of is. They know sort of what it does, but they want to get some intelligence. So they want to fly along up the British coast and back down the British coast, gathering information, trying to detect, have a bunch of detecting equipment. in the Graf Zeppelin 2, trying to detect radar waves, try to see how they're made out, and so they do this. Well, the commander of the vessel, who's ordered to do this, refuses, for safety reasons, to turn off his radios. So basically, they find out nothing, because the Zeppelin's radios are always on. I mean, not that they're always broadcasting, but they're always listening, so the electronic signals are on. And so the instruments that are flying along, and the Germans aren't sure. I mean, it's not like, oh, well, of course we just did this pseudo-dummy mission and aren't going to get any information. They come away with, nothing we can detect here. Well, it was because, or at least partially because, and this is before the war actually starts. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the British radar, because they're identifying some of the radar stations that are going up, and so they can't detect anything. And looking back on it from the article that I read, it's pretty damn sure that the radiation coming from the electronics and the radios, even just, not broadcasting, even just with them turned on, is disrupting the sensors that are on board. However good or whatever good it would have done the Germans, I don't know, and I don't know if we know, but so yeah. And then the Graf Zeppelin and the Graf Zeppelin 2, and I've lost the photo. I found it many years ago, and I'm looking for it. So if anybody out there, Marcel or which I've noticed you've changed your name, and that's very cool, so now I'll know, ever finds a photo of some Zeppelin crew members in, I think it's around 1940, of hand cutting up the frame, I think it's of the Graf Zeppelin 2, and I know I've done some Google searches for it, because they want to use the aluminum for, aircraft during the Second World War. So I'd love to find that photo, because I would make an event, especially if I have that one image of the Germans cutting up their own Zeppelin at the end of that, or have the event keep the Zeppelin for spy missions or something, I don't know, but have the choice of the player to either cut it up or not. And that's sort of the story of the Zeppelins. Okay, well, since it's snowing and we're not going to do anything, fly it anywhere, let's max it out. Yeah, 15 MPP will do that. So that is sort of the short story of, well, it may seem sort of longish, short story of the Zeppelins. Okay, well, let's move to here. Well, maybe we'll take Oran, since the French have moved all their forces out to now move up and battle us here. Okay, well, we're now behind technology. You can see the French have level 1, it's sort of, or it's one level added to it, of infantry equipment, weapons, whatever, where we don't. We're still in the pickle hoop category. So we would like to kill that unit, but we could also kill the detachment or the corps. We'll see what's good there. But here, he just showed up, so he's not going to be able to do anything. He's going to move back. He's going to move up. Okay, this turn he can't shoot because he just moved up. But next turn, if they move somebody back in here, we'll be able to attack effectively, I think and hope. With it. Now let's swap these out. Winter battles in the snow. These guys are not entrenched, so that's why we're doing fairly well against them. And boom, one French corps down. Okay, that is useful. They just got there, so and they're either that or not close enough to only have one shell. You move back here.
Hear about the Pickle Hoop mountain in New York?
No, don't know anything about it. Tell me.
Pretty much after World War One, America pretty much collected all these helmets from Germany, and they put them up on display in the public area of New York, and pretty much just stacked them up.
Oh God, I wish I could have gotten 100 of them or something.
Probably like 100,000 of them.
Well, no, I mean just as I'm a collector, and so I would love to have a Pickle Hoop helmet.
Honestly, yeah, they're such an interesting design.
Yeah. Well, that, and I grew up watching Hogan's Heroes, and Colonel Klink had his Pickle Hoop helmet. Okay, didn't kill the core, damn it, and that was, well, the detachment. And now here, they're gonna retrench. They're better, but I can get more attacks here. So we're gonna, defensive artillery, which, well, that actually went fairly well. So let's.
Any sign of the French Foreign Legion?
Not particularly, though I have seen them, in other playthroughs here. If that guy wasn't as weak as he is, I would move him up, but this winter offensive isn't going so great. No. Okay, the winter offensive is ending here, but not down here. We're going to, okay, we have one shell, so let's, oh, it's snowing, can't operate. Okay. See if they'll still have enough action points to attack. Yes, and they killed it. Very good. Oh, good. Good. Took that down. Now here, this unit. Well, if we swap these out, they'll be able to be reinforced. Well, just that much. Now we've got a core facing them, and they're going to entrench. Oh, there we go. These guys are going to entrench. There we go. These guys are there. Are they entrenched? Nope. They should be. I keep forgetting to, I guess. Might as well entrench these guys just in case somehow they get to the rear. Okay, we have our problem with the partisans. Well, let's undo that.
Turned into a fortress.
Yeah, I don't know that it's still getting a for some reason had that symbol around it, but it's not really a fortress, but it is a city that we're besieging. So what we need to do is make sure that we don't have this repeating on our... Okay.
We forget about Bulgaria for troop development.
Yeah, we're definitely, but I don't want to... What I'm worried about is within the game's mechanic, if it sees that there's still a Serbia alive, we might get a Romania in the war, and I prefer to keep them out of the war. It took Germany a while to learn the lesson that it's best not to take on everybody in the world. Not all at once, at least. Okay.
I wouldn't say that's Germany's fault.
They did it twice. The first time I'll give you the argument that they didn't quite think of it as getting the whole world involved, but they did.
The first time they didn't do it. There's two nations that I blame for the start of World War I, and I am hooked on Austria-Hungary and Russia.
I blame Serbia.
Well, Serbia has a fair blame.
Serbia kills the equivalent of the vice president of Austria-Hungary, the crown prince, the guy who's going to be the next Kaiser of Austria-Hungary.
And I fully agree.
That is an act of war against Austria-Hungary, and so Austria-Hungary.
Fully agree.
Okay, so here's what would have happened is he gets shot within 5 days. Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. It just would have been the Serb-Austro-Hungarian War of 1914. But they wait, is it almost like 3 months or something, while everybody's negotiating back and forth. Britain, other people are all trying to negotiate a settlement out. So it divorces the assassination attack from the start of the war with Serbia. So you sort of get this feeling by enough powers, enough people, that it's not such an immediate effect. So then...
Understand this one thing, though. The ultimatum they sent to Serbia was a complete joke. Serbia agreed to almost a majority of the things on the list, but had a problem with just a handful, and because they ignored that, they rejected the ultimatum. That was a war. But the thing is, Austria wanted this war. That's why they made the ultimatum so ridiculous. Okay, the Black Hand and Serbia, they obviously played a part, but it's still unknown if Serbia truly helped them out as much as they did, as Austria-Hungary might have claimed. And I blame Russia fully, because Russia's the one who guaranteed Serbia, in a sense, and declared war on the Central Powers first. Russia's the first country to truly mobilize for the war. That's why.
Okay. I also agree with you on Russia. I don't care that the ultimatum said, you basically have to give in, and I don't know what the exact ultimatum. I don't know what it. I know they sent an ultimatum. I don't know what was in it, but I don't even care if it says unconditional surrender, because we'll come in, unconditional surrender. Otherwise, we're just invading you because you just attacked us. I don't care if that's what the thing is. I don't blame Austria-Hungary. I agree about Russia and guaranteeing Serbia. Where Germany comes into the blame, and I agree with the people. Now, they overdo it, I would say, but I mean, Austria does a lot what becomes known as, because there hadn't really been before the idea of war crimes, particularly.
Germany did anything. Germany.
Well, hold on. Let me explain. I'll give you your shot. Austria does a lot of bad things that we would consider war crimes to the Serbs and other peoples in that region. Absolutely. They're not some sort of, we just, attacked the army and fought the guerrillas. No, they did retaliatory raids against what would generally be we would clearly think as civilian populations.
I could just say fine for that. they killed the worst guy too, because he was like a moderate. He would have given the people more rights in that region. I don't know why, but every time there's assassination, they always kill the good person of it instead of the.
Right. Yeah, and so there's Austria definitely does bad actions. Germany does bad actions, particularly in Belgium, because, as I've recently learned, is why they were so harsh is because goes back to the Franco-Prussian War, and the French did a lot of guerrilla actions during that war, and the Germans were sort of paranoid that that's what was going to happen in Belgium. So they come in and very, iron-fisted in Belgium. So Germany does two bad things. And in the West, I don't know how good or bad the occupation policies were in the East. Particularly, I do know, as we were talking earlier, about them setting up a sort of minor area puppet government that were Poles to sort of self-govern them under German supervision. I mean, there's a lot of qualifying statements there, obviously, but they do set that up. They're very harsh on the Belgian populace starting in day one. I mean, very much so, going after people that were uniformed opponents and killing them because their uniforms were sort of reservist type uniforms, in that maybe just sort of a particular type of jacket and an armband, because they were local civil, long-standing local civil militias, that were recognized by the governments, but they were being treated as guerrillas when they weren't acting as such. That, and two, and this is where it gets into taking on the whole world, is Germany goes, oh, okay, yeah, we have a defense agreement with Austria. Russia's attacking Austria. Russia has a defense agreement with France. Well, okay, so that means if we're going to war with France or with Russia, we have to. I was going to say the Soviet Union, but Russia. We're also going to have to go to war with France. And so, there's this entirely neutral, hey, we don't want to be in the war, Belgium, and they invaded. And so that is where I'm going after the whole sort of world situation. And that is where I'm saying they don't play well with others. Yeah, they're entrenched. Okay. And so that is where I give Germany the level 3 fault for World War I. So level 1, the primary, is Serbia. Level 2 is Russia. Level 3 is Germany. That is my evaluation. Your turn to speak, Eric.
I think it's important to know in just the few years before World War One, Germany was trying to ease relations, and in doing so, they just made mistakes. I don't know if you heard about this. It's been a while since I read about it, but there was this sort of like diplomatic mission or interview with the Kaiser, and he was just trying to be friendly and all that to Britain to try to restore relationships, and he ended up just calling him a match marching. Well, pretty much just call him mad marching hares or something like that.
Right.
Insult. Of course, every year following World War One was just ease and tension, horrible things. And the whole German doctrine, if war was to break out, is to try to make it as quick as possible. Because the longer it takes, the more bloody it's going to be and the worse it's going to get for their situation. With the Schlieffen plan, you already know their plan was to try to quickly take out Paris, give the French, make them surrender, focus all their attention on Russia. And while they did horrible things to the Belgians, I'm not going to deny that, but I'm also not going to deny the fact that the Allies obviously launched that into propaganda hell.
They definitely increased the perception of their bad behavior. They definitely did that, the Allies. Go on.
It was kind of stupid to do it, I agree, because Britain did guarantee Belgium's neutrality, and if they did leave Belgium alone, Britain could have stayed out of the war. It's not guaranteed that they would have joined, or if not, because they were mixed to begin with.
Well, there's I've had some discussions. So some people really believe that Britain would have come in either way, just on their balance of power situation. And I'll just hello, Helsinki. Yeah, this is sort of an unscheduled, impromptu live stream, and I didn't change the description from my last War Thunder. So Ari and I are making episodes of Strategic Command World War One. So sorry for any confusion. You're very welcome to stay, but no panzers. Okay, go on, Ari.
Anyways, what Germany failed to do, or what they shouldn't have really done, was try to force the world. Germany did declare war on Portugal. I'm pretty certain about that because of the whole British trading. That was unnecessary to do. However, most of the nations that joined against Germany did not declare on. They were brought in by propaganda or promises for land.
Right. And so yeah, I'm agreeing with your assessment there. And how do I put this? In August 1914, is it apparent that China and Japan, now Portugal, I think, is also, I'm not really sure on all of the details, is sort of drawn into some of the war because of Mozambique being next to particularly Tanganyika and whatnot. So they were more involved in the colonial aspects of the war.
It was also more about the 200-300-year-old alliance they have with Britain.
There's definitely that was very much strengthened approximately 100 years before during the Napoleonic Wars, very much so.
The Japanese joined was also because of an alliance with Britain they had, which obviously they didn't keep when World War II started going around.
Japan really comes into the war because of wanting to get some of the islands out in the Pacific that were German controlled, and China comes in because they want to get the German concession back.
And they also sort of are scared about the Japanese. That's my takeaway as well.
That may be, but and maybe particularly not wanting Japan to take over the German concession. They wanted it, and so there, to the best of my knowledge, no. Okay, cool. You can lurk while you're doing this. Yes, Strategic Command World War One. It is produced by Slithering Matrix Games. So, China comes in, they do fight, and the Germans do a valiant defense of their garrison in, Tsingtao, is how you pronounce it? So it's along the coast, rather north of Shanghai.
Also where the first pilot kill happened as well. Could be wrong.
Okay, I didn't know that, but yeah. So, no, is Germany thinking in these terms that everybody's going to jump into the war? Maybe not, but it definitely turns out that way. Now, China does fight Germany over in China, but does send, I think, 10 to 20,000 so-called soldiers, but they're basically unarmed, and they end up being laborers, basically, just unloading train cars to load them into other, stuff from one train car to another train car, shifting supplies and equipment in rear areas. It's mostly, I think, because they had no confidence in the quality of the troops, which they probably weren't that good compared to Europeans. And on the other side of it, it's lack of, good communication skills, and trying to put them into the front line probably just would have been a bit of a disaster. But hey, 10 or 20,000 or whatever the number is, extra hands to do, military associated type jobs supporting the war effort, like I say, moving unloading and loading ships and other supplies to keep the war effort going. That is useful, but what is also useful is trading with Germany, Japan. Oh, no, not Germany. Trading with China and Japan and other nations are done that allow Germany to, or allow these other nations to be able to fight where the Germans can't. Okay, well, let's see here. Let's continue. I don't know how much, because it's wintertime, I don't know how much we should be. Okay, down here we have to deal with these guys. Now when this starts, the Arab Revolt starts, T.E. Lawrence, or Lawrence of Arabia, is yet to be involved in it, but he becomes involved. Okay, we're going to call off our invasion, because I don't know if we're ready for it. So what we're going to do here is put these guys on rains and move the mountain troops down here to the desert. There are mountains down here to help deal with these guys, because we want to get rid of these guys fast. I have an
interesting idea.
What
if you tried to cut off the British army and the Egyptian, I'm going to butcher this probably, but Sinai?
Sinai,
yeah.
Yeah.
If you just land like at the forefront of the Suez Canal, you could cut off their army there.
Okay, I think, now unless they've moved everything to Europe, and they very well may, because maybe a bunch of these units here used to be down here, because we even see some detachments, but maybe you noticed, I don't know if it was for this episode or the last episode, the 2nd Anzac Corps showing up. That probably showed up on the map in this area. So there are probably some more forces here. I wish I had an air unit, and I'm not going to try to, cheat to find out, but there are probably forces here. I don't know, but I'm going to also guess there's probably some naval forces, so I don't know if our invasion would be successful.
I don't think landing Alexandria or anything. I mean, landing just behind the front line.
Yeah, okay, but there's going to be a supply issue, and I'm also thinking there's probably somebody at El Arish here. But yeah, you'd need to land at least at Port Said here. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It is a good idea. I just don't think we're ready to execute it. Okay, you can come down to here, and you can shift to here.
It might not be a bad idea to get a recon plane up.
Yeah, we can maybe get the Turks to build a recon unit. But I'm definitely... This unit here, I did not get... It came here via an event, so I'm very happy to have it along with the partisans they're holding here, Sidi Barani and Bardia. So that's doing pretty good holding out there. We've moved these guys up to here. Maybe we'll get Oran, which would be a major victory. Last time when I was playing in the last series, we had to fall back to Fez and hold out there. But we may do that. I'm just worried about naval landings. Okay, so let's and you're not wrong in wanting to do that. I'm not, and I'm just not ready to do it now in my mind. And I want to get some naval forces ready. Let's do that, because this is just going to, for me, this is a stalemate front, so we're just going to continue to hold out against any Russian attacks. Yes, I almost said Soviet again. You move back and hold Beirut, because I have seen the Allies with a free port, and they even landed up in Gallipoli in one of the things. Okay, well,
they might want to have a race to Athens before they could reinforce the Greek army.
Right. Well, they moved up the 2 corps up in here, and we're facing the Marines here. We're gonna continue. Well, okay. So this is the thing. Let's. Okay. Okay. The test will be okay. 7 isn't worth it. Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh, I meant to not do that. Okay. Well, guess we're gonna do this then. That was a misclick. Okay, can these guys know they can't move yet? You're going to come back to here to Pristina. Let's move you to there to keep, because otherwise I'm afraid, because I've seen it, partisans take over Austrian towns. Okay, or Serbian towns. Austria. Okay. We can see to here, can't we?
I feel like he should definitely do a spearhead, try to cut off the Ukraine with their cavalry.
Right. Okay, we've gotten that deep into there. That is just a detachment, but, well, fortunately we don't have good supply there yet. Let's keep moving forward.
I am still a little upset that there's no such thing as an armored train or even armored cars.
Well, they have, as you probably know, armored trains in Strategic Command World War II, and I mean, IKB is probably more upset than you are, but
yeah.
Okay. One, they're overpowered in the World War II game in that they can zip along too much of the railways. I could readily understand that an armored train unit can represent more than just like 2 or 3 armored trains in an area. It could represent a division or 2 of infantry transported via railways, so they're stuck moving only along the railways. I could see it, but I think it would be too weak, but I don't know, or too strong. I mean, that may sound sort of weird, but either overpowered or underpowered. Can you move north of Kiev? Can you come up? Okay, well, you can come to here to move in. Do we attack? No. How far can we get? How far can we get? That way they can move to there. That's good. Let's attack there. Their morale is pitifully bad. Like 25% morale. So I was thinking about attacking there with these guys, but let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, so they are there. We know they're there. Oh, defensive artillery, but oh well. Hurts us a little bit. but we'll be okay. Okay, they moved their subs up this way, so let's... And, well, maybe not entirely. I do know they moved some this way. A little just worried. Yeah, there we are. A little bit worried about our dreadnoughts, which have little or no anti-submarine ability. We don't have much ourselves. With the destroyers, well, let's go after the weak unit first. The one that might get to port. Okay, they're going to be cut off. Let's move you down to here to try to cut off the port. From any seaborne supplies. Okay. Now let's look at our naval situation here. You continue to cut off. There, okay. Now, see if we can do any good out here before we're all dead.
Somehow I feel like there's not going to be a June offensive for Russia this time.
Yeah, I don't know that Russia's going to be around that long. Because we're definitely having minor setbacks like these Serb revolts, but not major ones. Okay, well, let's go to production here. Let's what I think of this more than purchasing. Okay, now we can go with a Bulgarian detachment to help occupy. Well, yeah, maybe two of them. Let's see, it's going to be attachment 75 instead of German 75, so that Germany's paying for that. Yeah, another corps would be useful. For Turkey, as you mentioned, let's go with some air reconnaissance, and I think we're going to do for 150. Ooh, that would take everything up. I think we're going to have to wait on that. We're going to wait for next turn. Back at Germany. Let's look at research. What research do you think we should focus on? Artillery weapons, mobility, aerial warfare, that's fairly cheap. Fighter development, aerial warfare and fighter development. How does that sound as a pair?
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's 40 and 50 MPP. Okay, that still leaves us some here. Okay, I'm also going to say another one of armored warfare. Let's start pursuing that. Now for Turkey, Austria. They're just mostly used up for manpower right now. So let's just think about improving theirs. Gas and shell production, that would be nice.
Ground attack weapons sounds alright.
We don't have much, yeah, but that's for aircraft, and we don't have much the recon bombers. So yeah, but I don't think that's the best at this time. Or if we do trench warfare for 60 and gas and shell production, that just means we'll get more shots per gun per turn. Basically, increases the supply of that. So yeah. Industrial technology. Yeah, decrease unit cost by 5%. Oh, that's production. Yeah, I think this will be telling over time. Okay, that leaves us with a cushion of things. Arab revolts, these guys are back into supply. Maybe next turn we'll try an assault on them. See if we can wear them down at all. Let's redraw. Okay, come on. This map draws funny when you scroll down across the times. Well, they've got a port, so I don't think we can cut them off. If we were to come down here and attack. Nothing really. Okay, we'll go back to your trenches. Yeah, okay, I think we're ready to see what the Entente can do this February.
What about Bulgarian?
We've already moved over just about everyone we could. Okay, Entente liberate Serbia. Yeah, not really. Okay, Chief of General Staff Eric von Falkenhayn, an Irishman called Sir Roger Casement, is willing to take a large consignment of arms to Ireland to equip the nationalist and Republican groups who are planning to rise against British rule there. He asked for 25 MPP to fund this venture. It will be a risky mission, but if Casement manages to deliver the arms, the rising successful, then it could prove to be an important blow against our enemy. Would you like to authorize payment? Would you invest in this, Ari?
I mean, I got that weird relationship with Ireland, it being Catholic and all.
Yeah, I know. Okay, you're for it. Okay. I think it's worth the 25 MPP. Okay, with Albania... what?
The Eastern Rebellion's bound to happen anyways, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen big enough that there's going to put a partisan unit on there and force them to actually really do much. I don't know. Albania in friendly hands. We can increase our strength in the area by forming a detachment from Albanian volunteers to be called the Albanian Legion. Forming this will cost us 50 MPP and will be deployed at Triana. Yes, we'll take that. That will help us with defending there. Romanian opinion influenced by us decreases difficulties against Serbia. Okay. Because we sort of still have that little uprising. UK raises more troops through conscription. Second Anzac Corps arrives in England now. Okay, compared to maybe in somewhere else, I don't know. The Greek forces mobilized to defend Athens because we're moving close to them. Arabs rise against the Ottomans, so we get more Arab units appearing on the map. French workers in the southwest strike for better conditions. Workers in the Ukraine strike for better conditions. Well, we've got about, a quarter of Ukraine right now. Yes, they're blockading. Yes, they're blockading. German forces surrender in Cameroon. Yeah, nothing like Tanganyika. German Socialist Party expel 18 members of parliament for voting against the war. Fighting breaks out when Pancho Villa raids the U.S. territory. So, he comes there. The Americans are down in Mexico right now. Kropotkin and other anarchists declare their support for the Entente instead of wanting to leave the war, I guess, from the Russians. Or maybe that was somewhere else, I don't know. Scientists report progress on trench warfare development. Very nice. Progress on production development for Germany. Austria, production development increase. Okay, good. Yep. We've got to move enough forces and take out Belgrade. And they made it to port and they're moving around. It's probably in that Arnsberg there. And they're moving back into the trap again. Good. And they're moving out of the trap, which are going to leave the British on their own, it looks like. Which we can probably take that if we can get enough artillery and everything to pound that. Hex. Yeah, that guy should come down there, I think. Oh good, you're bombing us. Yay. Oh, you're bombing your own oil fields. Yay. I mean, we control them currently, but yay. Well, we're seeing a lot of the French arrive in the West Front.
About time the French actually defend France.
Yeah, I don't know where they were, whether they were just somewhere in reserve or just now coming on the map, or... Okay, Bolsheviks inspire agitation against the war spreads to Austro-Hungary. Uh-oh. Bolshevik revolution leads to disorder in the army for Russia. Moscow. A lot of Russian units are taking damage. A lot of Russian units are taking damage. Maybe just one strength, but still, that's a lot of them. Okay, we raid convoys, yes, yes. Bolsheviks take power in Russia. Trotsky leaks the Sykes-Picot Agreement to the Manchester Guardian, embarrassing the Entente. That's the dividing up of the Austro-Hungarian, the Ottoman Empire, sorry. Most damage from bombing, okay. Okay, so we've got all that. Let's see, 13 and 18 MPP were lost going to Russia. Another sub, which we're going to put here. We're going to add another corps for Austria, which we're going to put right down. Well, here. Okay, Turkey aircraft. Let's put you here.
How strong is cavalry when it comes to fighting infantry?
Not terribly. So we're going to save this.
That means Belfort might be a interesting target. Of course, it's kind of tucked and out of the way.
Oh, you're talking
Western Front.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, they're in a fortress. Because that blue triangles around it means it's in a proper fortress, not just an entrenched area. Yeah, nah, if all this other stuff was cleared, yeah, but not here. We're looking at possibly infantry attacks there, infantry and artillery there. I really wish he was over here this turn, so much so that we're going to, well, we can't, you're not on a railway even, damn. Well, we'll see how we move. We're going to get you up somewhere to be able to bombard at longer distance. But come back next time to see how well we can do moving into Greece, to see how well we can put down the Arab revolt, see what happens now here, because they've moved to here, but what's going to happen when we move to Odessa? In essence, cutting them off. How far can we get to Kharkov with our weak horse units? I don't know, but come back next time. Join us. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking the video. Say goodbye, Eric.
Goodbye.
And so put your comments, questions down below. We'll try to answer them either in the chat below or just in a future episode. Thanks, everyone. See you then.